Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inauguration ceremony of the Sri Lanka Surgical Congress 2023. This being the 52nd annual academic session of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. Please rise as the ceremonial procession makes its way to the auditorium. Please keep standing for the national anthem of Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka Mata, Appa Sri Lanka, Namo 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 Mata. Sundara Siddharini, Surani Ati Sobhamana Lanka. Ranya Ganaya Mekamal Palatulu Iri Jaya Bhumiya Ranya. Appa Hatta Sapa Siri Setta Sadhana, Jivana Mata. Piliganu Mena Appa Bhakti Puja, Namo Namo Mata. Appa Sri Lanka, Namo 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 Mata. Obave Appa Vidya, Obamaya Appa Satya, Obave Appa Shanti, Appa Hada Tula Bhakti, Oba Appa Aloke, Appa Ge Anuprane, Oba Appa Jeevanave, Appa Muktiya Obave. Nava Jeevana Devini, Nithina Appa Pubudu Karan Mata. Jnana Veeda Vadavamina Ragena Yanu Mena Jaya Bhumikara. Ekmavaka Kedaru Kalavedina, Yamu Yamu Vinopama. Prema Vada Samaveta Durara, Namo Namo Mata. Appa Sri Lanka, Namo 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 Mata.
In keeping to traditions this evening, I wish to call upon the following to light the traditional oil lamp. Our chief guest this evening, Professor Neil Mortensen, immediate past president of the Royal College of Surgeons of England, Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara, president of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, Professor Rowan Parks, president of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, Professor M.D. Lamawansa, president of the Sark Surgical Care Society, Professor Michael McCurdy, president of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow, Professor Arjuna Aluhare, the senior most past president of the college, Dr. Satish Gunasinghe, immediate past president of the college, Dr. S.M.M. Niaz, president-elect, College of Surgeons, Professor Risni Kasim, the treasurer, and Professor Sanjeeva Senviratna, the honorary secretary of the college. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and please do take your seats. I call upon the following dignitaries to kindly take their seats at the head table. Professor Neil Mortensen, our chief guest, Professor Nanda Deva Samarasekara, Professor Mike McCurdy, Professor M.D. Lamawansa, Professor Rowan Parks, and Professor Sanjeeva Seniviratna. I now call upon Professor Nanda Deva Samarasekara to deliver the welcome address.
Chief guest, Professor Neil Mortensen, immediate past president of the Royal College of Surgeons of England, Professor Rowan Parks, president, Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, Professor Michael McCurdy, president, Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow, Professor M.D. Lamawansa, president, Sark Surgical Society, past presidents of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, Professor Karunaratne, Vice Chancellor, University of Colombo, Professor Vajira Disanayaka, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, Dr. Kumara Vikramasinghe, Director, National Hospital of Sri Lanka, Professor Senaka Rajapaksa, Director, Postgraduate Institute of Medicine, fellow council members, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, fellow surgeons and friends. Today, I stand before you with immense pride and honor as the 41st President of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka at the inauguration of the 2023 academic sessions of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, conducted in collaboration with the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh and Sark Surgical Care Society. This event marks a significant milestone in our collective journey towards advancing the field of surgery, and I'm profoundly grateful for the opportunity given to address you. In addition to the presidents of the surgical societies in the Sark region, for the first time, we have the presidents of 3 Royal Colleges of the United Kingdom attending the Sri Lankan Surgical Congress together, a historic occasion indeed. First and foremost, I extend my warmest welcome to all of you gathered here today. The fact that you are here representing the finest minds in surgery from around the world speaks volumes of your dedication to the art and science of healing through surgical expertise. Your presence not only strengthens the bonds of the global surgical community, but also reaffirms our commitment to the pursuit of excellence in this field of surgery. Having been an academic and a trainer for the past 28 years, the theme for our session this year is training the future surgeon, which is very close to my heart. You will agree that the current students and trainees, the millennials and the generation Zs of this world are much more computer literate and technologically advanced than us, who are their teachers and trainers. Therefore, current trainers face the challenge of keeping up to date with modern technology in addition to their clinical commitments and academic responsibilities. I strongly believe that the college has an obligation to facilitate this process by collaborating with the surgical associations in the Sark region, Singapore, and the Royal Colleges of Surgeons in the United Kingdom. This academic meeting is more than just a gathering of brilliant minds. It is a platform for sharing knowledge, exchange ideas, and fostering innovation. It is a place where we all come together to learn from each other's experiences, to collaborate on cutting-edge research, and to explore new frontiers in surgical science. It's a testament to our unwavering commitment to advance patient care, improve surgical techniques, and push the boundaries of what is possible in the realm of surgery. In the face of unprecedented challenges over the past few years, the medical community and surgeons in particular have demonstrated remarkable resilience, adaptability, and courage. We have been on the front lines of a global health crisis, working tirelessly to save lives and protect the well-being of our patients. It's during times like these that the true spirit of our profession shines brightest, reminding us of the noble profession we have chosen. As we embark on this academic meeting, let us remember the core values that define us as surgeons. Those would be compassion, dedication, and a commitment to the highest standards of patient care. Let us also embrace innovation and the relentless pursuit of knowledge, for it is through these qualities that we will continue to push the boundaries of surgical excellence. In our roles as surgeons, we hold a unique position of trust and responsibility. We are entrusted with the care and well-being of individuals during some of their most vulnerable moments. It's a privilege, but it is also a heavy burden. It is our duty to constantly strive for the highest standards of excellence in our work, to uphold the principles of ethics and compassion, and also to never lose sight of the humanity that underlies every procedure we perform. As surgeons, we share a sacred trust with our patients. We hold their lives in our hands, and this responsibility weighs heavily on our shoulders. However, it is also a privilege to heal, to restore, and to give hope. We must always remember that our work impacts not only the individuals under our care, but also their families, communities, and society at large. During the sessions, I encourage you to actively engage in the discussions, workshops, and presentations. In addition, share your insights, ask questions, and challenge the status quo. It is through our collective efforts that we will continue to elevate the field of surgery and, most importantly, improve the lives of our patients. It is time to celebrate past achievements, but also to reflect on what could have been better, embrace challenges of the present, and boldly shape the future. With collaboration, innovation, and a commitment to excellence, there is no doubt that the landscape of surgery will transform to improve the lives of countless individuals around the world. In closing, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the organizing committee, speakers, sponsors, administrative staff of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, event organizers, and all others who have worked tirelessly to make this academic meeting a reality. I would fail in my duty if I do not thank the person who cannot thank himself. That is our Honorary Secretary, Professor Sanjeeva Seneviratna. He was my house officer, registrar, and PG trainee. He's a brilliant academic who has always been a first in the first class. Now he's a colleague in our department, a person who is an absolute asset to our department and the country. Dear Sanjeeva, thank you for taking most of the burden off my shoulders and helping me to run a successful program. Finally, I wish to thank you in the audience for your presence this evening, and together let us make Sri Lanka Surgical Congress 2023 a resounding success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As you already know, this academic venture is a joint meeting with the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh and the Sark Surgical Care Society. On that note, let me call upon Professor Rowan Parks, President of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, to address the gathering.
Well, Professor Samarsekera, Chief Guest, Professor Mortensen, senior colleagues on the top table, past presidents, members of council, international distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real delight to be here and back in Colombo, Sri Lanka. And especially again to co-host, together with the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka and the SARC Surgical Society, this annual scientific meeting. And what a topic. It's my passion, much as your president's passion, education and training. What a theme. And it was superbly started this morning by a wonderful lecture from our guest, chief guest, Professor Mortensen. For anybody who didn't hear it, I'd really challenge you to try and see it online. It was very, very inspiring and gives us a glimpse into what surgical education and training might look like in the future. But on behalf of my colleagues from the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, many are sitting over there. We've brought most of our office bearers, member of council, who hails from these parts, Mr. Mike Silva. It's wonderful for us to be here and enjoy again your hospitality and kindness. We've had a real commitment as a college to the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka back over the last 4 or 5 decades. And personally, I've had the privilege of being coming to many of the congresses since about 2011 when we opened a surgical skills centre, again, around education and training, and have had numerous opportunities to interact over the years. We always come away having learnt something which is so stimulating and enjoyable. But we've made many friends over those years. We value those friends, and here we are again looking to make new friendships and global connections. As an international college, that's what we're all about, and we love the opportunity of engaging with you and sharing this meeting with you. So I wish the Congress well. I think we've had a fabulous day today. We've got a great program over the next 2 days, and I wish the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka the very best in the next 12 months to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Professor M.D. Lamawansa, the President of the SARC Surgical Care Society, will address you now.
Very good evening to all of you. Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara, the President of the College, Professor Owen Parks, Professor Neil Mortensen, Mike McCurdy, Sanjeev Selvaratna, past presidents of the college, council members, the orator tonight, founder president of the SARC Surgical Care Society, Professor Arjuna Alvihara, friends from SARC countries. We have Professor Sanjay Jain from India, and Sajida Quresh from Pakistan, Tashi Tenzin over there from Bhutan, and Sunil Sharma, the president-elect who will take over the SARC Surgical Care Society in 48 hours from Nepal. It is my privilege, ladies and gentlemen who are here, including the Dean of the Faculty, Professor Vajra Disanayaka, to welcome you in addition to what Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara and Professor Rohan Pak has done to the Sri Lanka Surgical Congress 2023, co-hosted by SARC Surgical Care Society with the 2 other societies that you just heard. The SARC Surgical Care Society is delighted to note the steady progress being made by the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. And this year is no exception. Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara, we really congratulate you and your team for what you have done during this year. The main reason for our delightness is that the SARC concept was originated at the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, and the SARC Society largely depends on the college for its progress. Today's event, the College Congress, is a platform for us to bring together the surgeons from the West, the East, and the SAARC. And it's a trademark conference. And many people are looking forward to this Congress. We are happy as a SAARC Surgical Care Society to see the improvement of participation of SAARC surgeons and trainees, this time from 4 SAARC countries, and of course after the COVID pandemic. As has been in the past, the current Congress has included SAARC Oration, which will be held tomorrow, and the SAARC Symposium, and I invite you to attend both. Keeping in line with the theme of the Congress, SAARC Symposium to be held tomorrow is dedicated to the surgical training in the region. There will be presentations from 7 countries. Surgical education and training is a high priority area that the SAARC Surgical Care Society has worked from its inception. I am pleased with the contribution of our member countries in conducting several on-site and online education and training sessions, especially during the last few months. There are multilateral links and bilateral links, and also the inter-institutional links that are imparting surgical training and education to our member surgeons and budding surgeons. Advancement of technology is fast, but its use in the surgical education and training is rather slow in most parts of the world. Adoption of these advancements to the surgical training, such as surgical simulation, virtual reality, so far remains expensive for some of the SAARC countries. However, sharing of expertise and resources among the SAARC countries is not only possible, but is a must to speed up to bring in modern dimensions into surgical education and training in our region. I'm sure that the next SAARC president, Professor Sunil Sharma, who will take over the responsibility on coming Saturday, will continue to concentrate on the training needs and issues in the region. Finally, I invite you to attend the forthcoming conferences organized by our member countries, India, Pakistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh, and the 4 conferences are lined up during the next 3 months before the 31st of December. We will, from the SAARC Surgical Care Society, we will continue to share with you the information about these upcoming events. And once again, Professor Nande, while congratulating, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for patiently listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to listen to Professor Mike McCurdy, President of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. Professor Mike McCurdy.
President Samasekara, fellow guests, former presidents of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka and council members, surgeons representing so many different parts of the world, as well as, very importantly, the surgical community of Sri Lanka. Thank you very much indeed for giving me the opportunity to address you this evening. We have a congress for these next 3 days to look at the training of the future surgeon, and indeed there is much new to be learned about surgery. And over these few days we'll look into different disciplines, whether trauma and orthopedics or my specialty of breast surgery, the basics in hernia repair or colorectal, new developments in robotic surgery. And the future is exciting, and there will be many young trainees here who will be learning, as well as older fellows like myself learning and trying to keep up to date. But we started this evening by doing something very traditional, lighting lamps. A tradition to bring us together and connect us as we lit these different parts of the lamp and brought light into the darkness. And that's what this Congress is trying to do over the next few days, to enlighten us, to bring us new knowledge
and for us to share that knowledge. But there was something to me very moving about us gathering round with very senior people and as your guests to light these different parts of the one lamp. Because one of the important things in surgery is for us to stay connected to one another. And so we, as your guests, are very grateful to you this evening for asking us to come and share in your Congress. Because surgery is, I agree, Mr. President, a great privilege, but it's also quite a hard place to be in life. There are days when it doesn't all go so well. And in those times, we need to be sustained by a community, sustained by one another. And being here with you as a guest and sharing in this Congress, I'm reminded every time I come to Sri Lanka what a tremendous surgical community you have, with people coming from all over the island to take part in this Congress, to take part in maintaining your standards through examinations and in the process of educating young surgeons, the theme of this Congress, Future Surgeons. So thank you very much, Mr. President, for giving us the opportunity to be with you this evening and through these next few days. We look forward to the learning. We look forward to being connected with so many old friends. And let us all try and endeavour in these next few days to connect really with one another, share our experiences, share our knowledge, share our friendship, and make the community of surgery here in Sri Lanka all the stronger by doing so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now call upon Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara, the President of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, to formally introduce our chief guest to the audience. Professor Samarasekara will read the citation and thereafter confer the honorary fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka on Professor Neil Mortensen.
Members of the Council and distinguished guests, I take great pleasure in introducing our chief guest today, Professor Neil Mortensen, MA, MD, FRCS England, Honorary FRCPS Glasgow, Honorary FRCS Edinburgh, Honorary FRCS Ireland, and Honorary FACS, and immediate past President of the Royal College of Surgeons of England. Professor Neil Mortensen is a Professor of Colorectal Surgery in the University of Oxford Medical School and had been on the staff of the Oxford University Hospital since 1987. He is a Fellow of the Green Templeton College in Oxford. He trained in Birmingham, Bristol, and at the St. Mark's Hospital, and has clinical and research interests in a wide range of colorectal diseases. He has published over 300 original articles in index journals, 30 book chapters, and has edited 8 books. I just went through his Google citation index just yesterday. He has a citation index of 26,477, an H index of 92, and an I-10 index of 283, which clearly shows his academic excellence as a researcher and a publisher. In 1980, he was awarded an international guest scholarship by the American College of Surgeons. He is a past chair of the British Journal of Surgery Society, past president of the Ileostomy Association, and the past president of the Association of Coloproctology of Great Britain and Ireland, and the Coloproctology section of the Royal Society of Medicine. He is also the immediate past editor-in-chief of the journal Colorectal Disease. He is an honorary member of a number of national and international surgical societies, including the American College of Surgeons and the American Surgical Association. He has delivered many guest lectures in the UK and many other prestigious guest lectures in the USA, Australia, Spain, Norway, and Switzerland. Since his appointment in Oxford, he campaigned for the recognition of colorectal surgery as a specialty and created the present department in Oxford. He established the first patient association for those with ileal pouches named Kangaroo Club, and in 2004, the charity Octopus, that is Oxford Colon Cancer Trust, which supports education, research, and new technology in colorectal diseases. He became a member of the Council of the Royal College of Surgeons of England in 2013 and a member of the trustee board in 2016. In 2017, he was appointed Vice President of the College of Surgeons of England, and in 2020, President of the College. Dear Sir, on a personal note, I wish to thank you for giving me an opportunity to work with you in your most sought-after unit in Oxford as a fully funded clinical research fellow when I went to the UK as a trainee in 1994, where I learned ABC of research, anorectal physiology, endoanal ultrasound, and management of complex coloproctological diseases. With the training I received in your physiology lab, I established the first GI physiology lab in Sri Lanka at the Faculty of Medicine, Colombo North, with Professor Janakari Silva, who was also one of your PhD students at that time. With the exposure to research you gave me, I was able to train many other juniors and trainees of mine later on in scientific writing and research. Therefore, dear sir, with deep gratitude and affection, I invite you to deliver your speech. And you will be awarded the fellowship also of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka.
Well, that's very, very exciting. Thank you so much. Professor Semarasekera, Mr. President, distinguished guests, members of the Council of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, former presidents, and our many, many surgical colleagues and their families in the audience. This is a very, very magic moment for me. Little do we realize when we begin our careers how much effect we will have both on our patients and our colleagues. And little did I expect that when Sam, as I still have to call him so, came to Oxford, he would one day eventually become president of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. And it's absolutely fantastic to see. And I think if anybody wants to look at legacy and what legacy really means, for me, this is really what legacy means, because we can have a profound effect on the surgical community around the world by being careful to understand that every meeting we have with a colleague, with a medical student, with a future surgeon may be, is absolutely critical. We can make a fantastic difference to people's lives, so we have to be so careful. Now, I am just going to say a little bit about my personal surgical journey. I was at a grammar school in the UK. Many of you who visited the UK will know what that is. It's not a posh school. I wasn't a very good student. I applied to medical school. I only got offered one university place. That was the University of Birmingham. But here's the lesson. Within that first week, we were allocated each a mentor. My mentor in that first week, by the grace of God, was the professor of surgery, completely by chance. The professor of surgery then was Professor Geoffrey Slaney, a vascular surgeon, and he gave me very, very good advice about thinking around a surgical career. He became my long-term mentor, and indeed, also miraculously, he became himself one of my predecessors, the president of the Royal College of Surgeons of England, Sir Geoffrey Slaney. Little did I think then, as his pupil and he my mentor, that I would follow in his footsteps. After medical school in Birmingham, interestingly, he allowed me to be given a scholarship to go in my first long vacation to Harvard Medical School to work in the surgical labs there. And this really opened my eyes, and I said, I have got to do surgery. So he made a fantastic effect on me. As we've been saying, we can all have effects on our colleagues. I think the most important thing to also say during a surgical career is it's really important to find a good, strong partner. And although she's not here, my wife, also a medic, very, very keenly felt that we needed to leave Birmingham, and we went to Bristol. And in Bristol, I became a surgical trainee, I did an MD, I became a senior lecturer, I started my course of clinical research related to GI surgery and then eventually colorectal surgery. Whilst I was in Bristol, the phone rang and somebody said, will you please come to Oxford? And difficult invitation to turn down. Those invitations are very, very flattering. And many of you in the audience will have had those moments when a door has been opened ajar and you wonder whether you should push and go through. And I've usually, not always, taken the view that if you have an opportunity, you should grasp the opportunity with both hands and take it. So I did, and the rest, as they say, is history. I became a surgical consultant, professor, teacher, trainer, and very, very, very strong advocate, passionate advocate for a life in surgery. I became president of the English College in 2020 at a profoundly difficult time in our college history. I say that because many, many things all happened simultaneously. Number one, we had knocked down, quite literally, knocked down our building in Lincoln's Inn Fields, apart from the front, which we had to maintain. We embarked on a building project, and that building project began in 2018. And of course, in 2020, the pandemic started. We thought there'd be terrible problems with carrying on with the building and so on. Again, miraculously, the building was eventually completed in 2021. And in a break between two separate waves of COVID, I was able to actually take the key and open the door of the new building. Going into a new building has its challenges, so simultaneously with the new building, we had the COVID pandemic, a massive, massive effect on surgical activity in the UK. And then, of course, hand in hand with that, as I was explaining and describing this morning, the digital revolution in medical care, the way in which we suddenly began to use Teams and Zoom calls in a way which we'd never properly done before because they weren't very developed, and has become part of our lives now. And that's much the way we managed the business of a surgical college during those first 12 to 18 months. There were lots of firsts. First to open the new building. First virtual admission and virtual demission ever in the history of the English College as president. When I was actually admitted as president, it was in the throes of the pandemic, and so I was admitted online as a digital president. And then when it came to my demission at the end of July, we had a industrial action by our junior doctors. Many of you will know that just as in many, many other parts of the world after COVID, there's been lots of disruption of lives and economies and stable platforms for living and working. And such was the case in the UK too, and our junior colleagues have had intermittent strikes. On the day of the council meeting, when I was going to hand over my chain of office to my successor, was the beginning of a long period of industrial action by the junior doctors. So we decided to have that too online. So I am the digital president. We opened the Hunterian Museum. We opened a new auditorium or new hall for having our diplomate ceremonies, the first time we'd ever used that, the first time we'd ever used that place to do it. We had our first council meetings, first online and then in hybrid form in the building ever, learning how to do that in a new building too. Lots and lots of firsts. And also on top of all that, and what I see as a significant achievement is we had a review, so-called Kennedy Review, around equality and diversity in surgery, which has had a ripple effect throughout the profession in the UK and elsewhere, I hope. It's taught us that even if you have a new building, you have to also have a new start. You have to have a new way of looking and encouraging everybody who wants to be part of the surgical community to become part of the community, whatever gender, racial background, religious background, and so forth. So that's allowed us to have a new start and to be able to look afresh at the way we do surgery. I do want to say that it's absolutely wonderful that the three UK presidents of colleges of surgeons are all here together. One of the things that COVID taught us, I think, was that we have to collaborate, that we have to work together to succeed. Many, many colleagues who previously had been in competition with each other suddenly realized during COVID that the only way we could beat this thing was to work together. And I'm so pleased that the English colleges, the UK colleges, the Scottish colleges are all working together for the surgical community. Because these are very, very tough times, as Mike has said, in surgical provision in the UK and around the world. We have to do all we can to inspire the next generation of surgeons. If you are ever in London, do please come and see our new building. You would be very, very welcome. On behalf of the English College, I want to extend our very, very best wishes to the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. I've been delighted already in the meeting to see the progress that Sri Lankan surgery has made, despite all the challenges. I'm very privileged to be here in such distinguished company. I'm absolutely delighted to receive this honorary fellowship. I hope this will further strengthen the relationship between our two colleges in the future. I think maybe we have neglected you. We've been thinking about a new building. We've had other things on our mind. But I think this will be a new start, rather like our new building. And once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, sir. We now move on to the award of honorary fellowships. I call upon Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara, the President of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, to confer these honorary fellowships to individuals who have contributed significantly in refining and upgrading surgery in Sri Lanka. May I kindly request the recipients to stand while their citation is being read. The first award of honorary fellowship is presented to Dr. Satish Kumar Gunasinghe. The citation will be read by Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara himself.
It's an honor and a privilege to confer an honorary Fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka to Dr. Satish Kumar Gunasinghe, who is MBBS Colombo, LLB, MS, MA Caledonia, FRCS Edinburgh, and FCSSL, and Honorary Fellowship of the Association of Surgeons of Ireland. He is currently a consultant urological surgeon at the Karapitiya Hospital in Galle. He had his secondary education and is a product of Nalanda College, and he has won the gold medal for the best all-round senior surgeon of the school in 1981. Undergraduate medical education was at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, and graduated in 1991 with second-class honors. He entered the Sri Lankan postgraduate training program in surgery in 1993 and obtained the Master of Surgery in the University of Colombo in 1997, and chose to specialize in urological surgery and had training at the National Hospital of Sri Lanka and the Royal Hampshire Hospital in Sheffield in the UK. He obtained the fellowship of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh in 1999. He was board certified as a consultant urological surgeon by the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine, University of Colombo in 2000. He took up his first appointment as a urologist at the Kurunegala Hospital, which at that time then lacked any urological services. But he transformed it to a center of excellence before he left. He also spent a short tenure in the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital in 2008, and now he had been in Galle for the last 15 years. He is a multifaceted person. He also, in addition to his medical degrees, he obtained his LLB from the Open University of Sri Lanka, and he was called to the bar as an attorney at law of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka in 2009. And he also studied for an MA in Buddhist, Master of Arts in Buddhist Studies, and obtained a MA degree from the University of Caledonia in 2019. Actually, he obtained both these qualifications while working in a busy urological unit in the state sector. Considering his other activities, which means research, in urology, he has published many articles in the European Urology Journal, Ceylon Medical Journal, and in the current bladder dysfunction, the Journal of Current Bladder Dysfunction. He has done many local and overseas presentations. And not only that, he is a current co-editor-in-chief of the Galle Medical Journal, the quarterly academic journal of the Galle Medical Association. He was a former editorial member of the Sri Lanka Journal of Surgery. He was also a member of the Ethics Committee of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Ruhuna, and he initiated the Galle Medical Association research grant given to the promising young researchers. Considering all his achievements in the clinical fields as well as in the academic arena, the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka has nominated him to the award of fellowship, honorary fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka.
The award of honorary fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka is presented to Professor Michael John McCurdy. I call upon Professor Srinath Chandrasekhara, distinguished past president of the college, to read the citation.
President Sir, distinguished members of the head table, it is my great pleasure to read the citation for the award of the honorary fellowship of our college to Professor Michael McCurdy, President of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. Dr. McCurdy graduated from the University of Glasgow with an MB CHP in 1985 and chose general surgery with a special interest in breast cancer, obtaining his FRCS from Glasgow in 1991 and the Intercollegiate Fellowship in 1997. Professor McCurdy was appointed as consultant surgeon to Greater Glasgow and Clyde in 1997 and holds this position up to date. Mike has led and developed breast cancer services including oncoplastic and screening, sentinel node biopsy, rehabilitation programs, and many other services of rehabilitation together with the Macmillan Charity in the UK. He has held numerous positions, high positions related to his specialty, which are far too numerous to list out. But just to mention a few, he has held office at the Association of British Association of Breast Surgery in the UK, Ireland, as a trustee, Association of Breast Surgery of the Association of Surgeons of Great Britain and Ireland as a council member, and the Scottish National Panel for Specialists for General Surgery, just to name a few. He has made significant contributions to breast cancer research, including his role as principal investigator in several breast cancer trials and as supervisor to various PhD programs. Nationally and regionally, Professor McCurdy has served as the national lead for breast cancer services in Scotland, has been an invited reviewer of the Royal College of Surgeons of England, the sub-dean of the Royal Alexandra Hospital, University of Glasgow Medical Faculty, Director of the Basic Surgical Program, Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow, and also I do know that he has been instrumental in setting up a joint program for a skills lab in collaboration with the Royal College as well as the University of Glasgow. He has been the professional advisor to the Scottish Government Global Citizenship Program, during which time he has contributed very closely to the Ministry of Health and International Development. Professor McCurdy's engagement to the and contribution to the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons has been long-standing. He was appointed as council member to the Royal College in the year 2005 and subsequently as trustee of the college. In 2016, Mike went on to become the Director of Global Health for the Glasgow College, a position which he has held until 2021 when he was appointed President. Professor McCurdy was appointed as the President of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow in 2021, and he holds office up to date. Ladies and gentlemen, beyond many such accolades, the most noteworthy attribute of Professor McCurdy to us as members and council members of the College of Surgeons has been his long-standing and sincere friendship and contributions to the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka and its fraternity. Professor McCurdy has made sustained contributions to our postgraduate education system, which has enabled us to significantly enhance the quality of examinations, assessment, and teaching. He has facilitated international accreditation and provided his unstinted support towards quality assurance of the first ever exit examination program, which the college began just a few years ago and continues to support new programs that are being contemplated. The award of the fellowship, which is the highest honor of our college, was confirmed last year in 2022, but was postponed until this year as Mike was unable to visit us in 2022. Mr. President, members of council, past presidents, and fellows, it is my great pleasure to present to you Professor Michael McCurdy, President of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow, for the honorary fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka.
Thank you, sir. The next honorary fellowship is presented to Professor Sanjay Kumar Jain. Professor Bhavanta Gamage will read the citation.
President, members of the Council, and distinguished guests, I take great pleasure in introducing to you Professor Sanjay Kumar Jain, MS General Surgery, FRCS Glasgow, FAICS, FIACS, FIAGES, Professor Department of Surgery, Gandhi Medical College, Bhopal, and the President of the Association of Surgeons of India. Professor Sanjay Kumar Jain completed his MBBS in the year 1984 and did his Masters in General Surgery in 1988 from Gandhi Medical College, Bhopal, with distinction and secured prestigious Dr. D.N.S. Chowdhury Memorial Trophy. Commencing his surgical career as a registrar in the Department of Surgery at Hamidia Hospital, Bhopal, he steadily advanced to the position of professor in surgery at Gandhi Medical College, Bhopal. Throughout his journey, he has overseen numerous research projects and contributed extensively to various national and international journals. His involvement extends to serving as an examiner for undergraduate and postgraduate examinations in universities across India. In 2015, he was unanimously elected as the chairman of the ASI Madhya Pradesh chapter, followed by his appointment as an ASI National Executive Committee member in the subsequent year. At the national level, he assumed the responsibilities of Joint Secretary of the Association of Surgeons of India in 2017, followed by the role of Honorary Treasurer in 2018 and Honorary Secretary from 2019 to 2021. Eventually, he was elected to the position of Vice President of ASI in 2022. Remarkably, he currently holds the presidency of the Association of Surgeons of India, a historical feat as he is the first individual to have served in all administrative chapters of the association, ranging from joint secretary to the esteemed president's post. Beyond this, he also holds the position of vice president of SARC Surgical Care Society and the president of the Organized Medicine Academic Guild of India. Moreover, he represents India as the current international advisor to the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. Professor Jain expertise have been acknowledged through numerous prestigious orations, including the Professor M.L. Sharma Memorial Oration, Professor Motilal Singh Memorial Oration, SARC Surgical Care Society Oration, Professor T.S. Jareem Memorial Oration, Dr. B.B. Ori Memorial Oration, and Dr. P.B. Bande Oration, and Professor M.L. Bandri Oration. He has also delivered the ASI Presidential Lecture in Tokyo and has presented numerous guest lectures at various national and international conferences. On the social front, Dr. Jain has been an active member of Lions Club International for over 3 decades, holding various positions. Then he has received the International President Certificate of Appreciation and the Everyday Hero Award. Professor Jain's commitment to his profession and leadership as widely recognized as respected and respected. On a personal note, I have known Sanjay for many years, and without any hesitation, I can say he has contributed immensely for the surgical education in the SAARC region. President, members of the Council, in recognition of the contribution in the form of surgical leadership in India and South Asian region, as the General Secretary of the SAARC Surgical Care Society, I take great pleasure in presenting Professor Sanjay Kumar Jain for the award of Honorary Fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka.
Thank you, sir. I now call upon Dr. Dulanta de Silva to read the citation for the honorary fellowship to be presented to Colonel Dr. Tasi Tenzing.
President Sir, members of the Council, distinguished guests. I take great pleasure in introducing to you Colonel Dr. Tashi Tenzing, BSc, MBBS, MS, President of the Bhutan Surgical Society. Colonel Dr. Tashi Tenzing is a consultant general surgeon and consultant neurosurgeon at the Jigme Dorji Wangchuk National Referral Hospital in Thimphu and the Professor of Surgery, Faculty of Postgraduate Medicine at the Kesa Gyalpo University of Medical Sciences in Bhutan. Dr. Tenzing qualified with MBBS from the Armed Forces Medical College in Pune, India in 1996, and then obtained a master's in surgery from the same institution to commence his career as a general surgeon in 2002. Having initially worked as a general surgeon, he then underwent a fellowship training in neurosurgery at the Rajaviti Hospital in Bangkok, after which he took up the post of consultant neurosurgeon at the Jigme Dorji Wangchuk National Referral Hospital, Thimphu in 2008. A colonel in the Royal Bhutan Army, he has served in a number of both civil and military hospitals in Bhutan over his career. His contribution to the Armed Forces of Bhutan was recognized by the Drukpoi Norbu Yodsel Medal, Light Treasure of the Armed Forces, awarded by His Majesty the King of Bhutan. Over the last decade, Dr. Tenzing has headed both the Department of Emergency and subsequently the Department of Surgery at the Jigme Dorji Wangchuk National Referral Hospital, Thimphu, the main healthcare institution of Bhutan. Dr. Tenzing has published widely and serves on the editorial board of both national and international journals. He is passionate about teaching, training, and the development of surgical and emergency care services in Bhutan, and Dr. Tenzing serves as a professor at the Kesa Gyalpo University of Medical Sciences of Bhutan. He previously served as the Dean of the Faculty of Postgraduate Medicine in the same university. Dr. Tenzing is an outstanding surgical leader in Bhutan and is a live wire of the SAARC Surgical Care Society. He was conferred the high honor of the Icon of Surgery Award of the SAARC Surgical Care Society in 2021. President Sir, members of the Council, in recognition of the form of surgical leadership in Bhutan and the South Asian region, I take great pleasure in presenting Colonel Dr. Tashi Tenzing for the award of the Honorary Fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Sridharan Sangarapillai Kadiragamanadan will be presented with the Award of Honorary Fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. The citation will be read by Dr. Chaturanga Keppetiyagama.
President, head table, distinguished members, all distinguished guests, I'm privileged to and I have an immense pleasure in reading the citation of Mr. Sridharan Kamanathan, FRCS PhD. He is consultant upper GI surgeon, Mid-Essex Hospitals, NHS Trust, Chelmsford, and he had his undergraduate education, MBBS, from University of Colombo in Sri Lanka to 1978 to 1983. He got through his second MBBS with first class with distinctions in anatomy, biochemistry and physiology, and he got Chalmers Gold Medal for anatomy. He had final MBBS second upper class division with distinction in obstetrics and gynecology and Manakbai Dadaboy Gold Medal for obstetrics and gynecology, and Ranasinghe Memorial Prize for midwifery. Not only that, he was the captain of the medical faculty cricket team, and he first in the merit list, and he is also he was the intern when Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara was the registrar in the professorial surgical unit at that time. He got his postgraduate education, he moved to England, and FRCS Edinburgh in 1988, FRCS General Surgery in 1998, and PhD from University of London 1999. He has a long academic record, starting with he's an upper GI laparoscopic robotic surgeon of Mid-Essex Hospitals NHS Trust. He's an honorary senior lecturer in Queen's Mary University of London and Bath's 2003 to date. He's a honorary senior lecturer in surgery, Anglia Ruskin University. He was previously Associate Medical Director for Robotic Surgery and Innovation, Mid-Essex Hospitals NHS Trust 2018 to 2021. He's a lead clinician in Essex, Wide Cancer Network for esophageal and gastric cancer from 2005 to 2010. He's a special advisor to NICE on interventional and procedures 2004 to date. He's a clinical lead and advisor for NHS England for formulating commissioning policies for management of gastroparesis. He's an educational and supervisor for Sri Lankan surgical trainees in conjunction with PGIM Sri Lanka. He has many clinical interests. He's the main pillar of establishing gastric pacing in Broomfield Hospital as the National Centre for England. He received referrals from England, Ireland and Wales. The unit has the biggest series of patients outside USA. Outcome data for interventions have been presented at national and international meetings. He is one of the people who pioneered in inventing capsule endoscopy, and he in Royal London Hospital, and he has established this service at Broomfield Hospital, Chelmsford. He has a lot of experience in esophageal and gastric cancers and set up Broomfield as a tertiary referral center for Essex through successful bidding process in 2003. He did a lot of advanced laparoscopy and robotic surgery. He himself was able to establish these units he has performed more than 150 robotic operations, and he does many robotic surgeries in upper GI. He has publications and presentations, original research basically on endoluminal surgery and capsule endoscopy. He has published 39 peer-reviewed articles and over 175 national and international presentations. He was invited lecturer for many learned societies, including AUG, DDW, EUG, many societies to name. He's a trainer, very good trainer. He's a proctoring surgeon in Croatia and GES in management of gastroparesis. He has a lot of research interest in above fields. Not only that, I found one very unique character of Mr. Kadir Kamanathan. He could raise any fund at any point. He raised funds for Broomfield hospitals to establish capsule endoscopy services, £125,000, and many other 3D laparoscopies. To make a note, £1.5 million he has raised for Da Vinci X1 robot. I want to mention that the courage he had to face the changes. In recognition of the contribution Mr. Kadir Kamanathan done to the surgical field, as well as the surgical training in Sri Lanka, on behalf of the President of the Council of the Sri Lanka, it's a great pleasure to present this honorary fellowship to Mr. Sridharan Kadir Kamanathan.
The next award of honorary fellowship is presented to Mr. Janindra Varsuvithana. Professor Dakshita Vikramasinghe will read the citation.
President and the Council of College of Surgeons, distinguished guests at the head table, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure, honor, and a privilege to read the citation of Mr. Janindra Varsuvithana on the confirmation of the honorary fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. Mr. Janindra Varsuvithana, BMed, FRACS, PhD, EBSQ colorectal, is a consultant colorectal surgeon at St. Mark's Hospital in London. He has a special interest in inflammatory bowel disease, intestinal failure, and proctology, and he is an alumnus of the Royal College of Colombo. He was trained in Australia and was subsequently headhunted to join the prestigious St. Mark's Hospital as a consultant surgeon in 2010. Since then, he has been the lead of IBD surgery unit at St. Mark's and holds many prestigious positions. He is the co-secretary of the European Board of Examination in coloproctology and the chair of the Education Committee of the European Society of Coloproctology. He has spent a significant amount of time training UK and overseas trainees, and he has been responsible for training 6 highly recognized Sri Lankan colorectal surgeons. He has published over 200 publications in peer-reviewed journals and written over 20 book chapters. On a personal note, he was my thesis examiner and subsequently my trainer in UK. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Janindra Varsuvithana.
The award of honorary fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka is presented to Dr. Lalantha Abhaya Ranasinghe. The citation will be read by Dr. Nissanka Jayawardena, distinguished past president of the college.
The President and the Council, College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, and distinguished guests. Dr. Lalanta Abe Ranasinghe, MBBS Colombo with honors, MS Colombo, FRCS England, dedicatedly served the Department of Health Services for over 37 years prior to his retirement recently. With specialized training in vascular surgery in both Sri Lanka and the United Kingdom, he also worked as a surgical registrar in Australia for over a year. Throughout his illustrious career, Dr. Ranasinghe served in various healthcare institutions, commencing at the General Hospital Anuradhapura in 1996. He contributed his expertise to BH Kuliyapitiya, General Hospital Kalutara, Base Hospital Panadura, Colombo North Teaching Hospital, and Colombo South Teaching Hospital before joining the National Hospital of Sri Lanka in 2010. A distinguished founder member and trainer of the National Trauma Management Committee, Dr. Ranasinghe remains actively engaged in training initiatives. For more than 15 years, he has been respected a member of the Board of Study in Surgery at the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine, Colombo, and a valued member of the Court of Examiners in MD Surgery. Dr. Ranasinghe's dedication to the medical field is further exemplified by his uncontested election as a member of the Sri Lanka Medical Council, where he served diligently for 10 years, ultimately completing his tenure as Vice President. As the President of the Association of Medical Specialists, he led the organization for 2 impactful years. Dr. Lalanta Abe Ranasinghe is widely recognized as an exceptional general surgeon, particularly renowned for his expertise in thyroid surgery, where he has completed more than 5,000 thyroidectomies. His commitment to education extends to both undergraduate and postgraduate students in the field of surgery. The President and the Council of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, may I have the honor of proposing Dr. Lalanta Abe Ranasinghe for the Honorary Fellowship of the College of Surgeons.
Thank you, sir. Next, I call upon Dr. Raghuram, the former president of ASI, to receive his award of honorary fellowship in person from Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara. This was awarded in absentia in the year 2021. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to a very unique moment, and that is the awarding of an honorary fellowship of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow to Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara, the President of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. I call upon Professor Abe Rani, who will read the citation for Professor Samarasekara, and thereafter, Professor Mike McCurdy, the President of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow, will confer the fellowship on Professor Samarasekara.
Evening all. Members of the head table, and members of the council of the College of Sri Lanka, it's a distinct privilege to be here. And you may ask why. Well, it's kind of, if Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain, the mountain comes to Muhammad. We've come to you to honor you with your honorary fellowship from our college. I now have my piece of paper, and I'll proceed to read the citation. It gives me great pleasure to provide this citation for Dharmabandhu Nandadev Samarsekara, also known to most of us as Sam. Sam was educated at the Royal Junior School and Royal College in Colombo and entered the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Colombo in 1977. He graduated with honors, a distinction in pediatrics, and was awarded the prize for clinical medicine. Interestingly, whilst at university, he was awarded the University of Colombo tennis, swimming, and water polo colors. This is a distinction of captaining 3 Colombo University teams within 5 years. A man of exceptional talents, you will agree. He then went into surgical training and completed his MS Colombo in 1990. He trained in the UK between 92 and 95, as you've heard, and was awarded his FRCS England and Edinburgh in 1992. He was awarded an MD from the University of East Anglia in 2007 and a postgraduate certificate in medical education from the University of Dundee in 2009. Sam is currently chair of surgery at the University of Colombo. He's chairman of the Board of Study in Surgery and has held that position since 2017, as well as being the chair of the Board of Examiners for MD Surgery since that very date. He has several other accolades, including 81 publications and several research presentations, both in Sri Lanka and overseas. He has provided sterling service to the surgical education fraternity in Sri Lanka over the past several decades, and indeed has also contributed to several academic ventures with all the UK surgical colleges prominently represented here. It gives me great pleasure to nominate him for the highest fellowship that my college, the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow, offers, the honorary fellowship. President McCurdy, may I request that Sam is so honored?
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the award of medals and prizes, I call upon Professor Nandadeva Samarasekara, the President of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, to do the honors. The PSS Pandit Ratna Gold Medal for Anatomy in MD Surgery Part 1 examination, February-March 2022. The award goes to Dr. D.S. Ranasinghe. The P.R. Anthony's Research Award, I beg your pardon, the PSS Pandit Ratna Gold Medal for Anatomy in MD Surgery Part 1 examination for September-October 2022. The award goes to Dr. A.N. Krishan. Next, we have the P.R. Anthony's Research Award for 2 best publications in peer-reviewed journals authored by Sri Lankan surgical trainees in the previous calendar year. Dr. B.M.O.D. Basnayaka for his paper, 2 squamous cell carcinomas of skin in a patient with Lynch syndrome, and Dr. Umesh Jayaraja, the incidence of and patterns of liver cancer in Sri Lanka from 2001 to 2010, analysis of National Cancer Registry data. I'm afraid Dr. Jayaraja is indisposed, so Dr. Basnayaka will collect both the awards. Dr. S. Stephen Award for the best published article in the Sri Lanka Journal of Surgery for the year 2022. The award goes to Professor Pramod Chandrasinghe for his publication Trends in Early Onset Colorectal Cancer in a South Asian Cohort, data from a specialized tertiary care center in Western Sri Lanka. Thank you, sir. I now call upon Professor Sanjeeva Seniviratne, the Honorary Secretary of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Chief guest, Professor Neil Mortensen, other dignitaries on the head table, members of the Council of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, all invited guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to you all. It is with great pleasure and immense gratitude that I stand before you here today to deliver the vote of thanks for this momentous occasion, the inauguration ceremony of the 52nd Annual Congress of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. First and foremost, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude and sincere thanks to the presidents of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh and Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons in Glasgow, Professor Rowan Parkes and Mr. Mike McCurdy, respectively, and also the chief guest for the evening, Professor Neil Mortensen. Your presence signifies the importance of international collaboration and knowledge sharing in the field of surgery. We must also acknowledge the presence of Professor M.D. Lamavansha, the president of the SARC Surgical Care Society. Your participation, sir, further strengthens our ties with the surgical community in the South Asian region. I would also like to extend our gratitude to our Congress co-chairs, Drs. Gaya Nekanayaka and Ranga Wickramarachchi, and our academic co-chairs, Professor Ajit Mallasekara and Dakshita Wickramasinghe. I am deeply indebted to you because without your help, this Congress wouldn't have been a success. Your help in conducting this Congress is much, much appreciated. Then special thanks also goes to all our resource persons, Congress co-chairs, resource persons, both local and overseas, who will be and who have shared their expertise and knowledge with us during this Congress. Your contribution have and will enrich our understanding of surgery. We also appreciate the hard work of organizers of symposia, breakfast sessions, and master classes who have worked tirelessly to make sure our Congress is a success. And also I would like to thank reviewers of abstracts and orations and the dedicated chairpersons who have ensured the smooth flow of our academic sessions. We must also recognize the dedication of our college staff who have been working with us for a long period now. They are very well geared mechanism. Without their help, including Mr. Dayanand, Amali, Chatusha, and Hirun, I am really, really thankful for you all. And also I thank Doctors Hansana, Mithushan, Dilki, and Tamisha, who have been working with the college staff tirelessly over the last few weeks to make sure everything runs smoothly. Next, I need to thank our coordinators, event coordinators, Nimalka and her team. They were the force behind the session smooth running, looking into every little thing to make sure the Congress runs smoothly. Also, our thanks go to Cinnamon Lakeside, our official partners, for arranging accommodation for our overseas guests. We also like to thank Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. They have come on board with us to arrange a special Colombo City tour, which our overseas visitors will experience on Saturday afternoon. I also would like to thank the hosts, our venue, Professors H.D. Karunaratne, Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, and Professor Vajra Disanayaka and Mr. Bandara. They have allowed us to conduct our sessions here in this wonderful facility, which all of you will agree, they have provided us with unwavering support during the arrangements, and provided without their help, we wouldn't have been able to conduct these sessions like what we have done today and will be conducting over the next 2 days. Also, I would like to thank our sponsors, too numerous to mention individually. Without their support, this Congress wouldn't have been a reality. After the oration that is due to happen after my speech, you will be treated for a special cultural performance by Channupuli dance troupe. I'm quite sure all of you will thoroughly enjoy that. Also, I would like to thank President and our Council. It has been an absolute privilege to have been working with all of you, and I consider it an honor and a privilege because they have provided us with an unwavering support during last several months while we were arranging this Congress. Thank you very much, sirs. Before I conclude, I would like to invite all of you to enjoy the reception that is going to follow the oration that's going to happen next. Last but not least, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here tonight, sharing our inauguration with us. Thank you very much. And thank you once again, and may this Congress lead to great advancements in collaborations in the field of surgery. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the Professor R.A. Navaratna oration. I call upon Professor Rohan Jayasekara to introduce the R.A. Navaratna orator to the House.
The President of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, members of the Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you, Professor Samarasekara, for inviting me to read the citation of Professor Ajit P. Mallasekara, MBBS Colombo, MS Colombo, MRCS London, and a Fellow of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. I perform this task with great personal pride. Professor Mallasekara is presently a professor in urology in the Department of Anatomy and Genetics and Biomedical Informatics of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. He is also a board-certified genitourinary surgeon. Professor Ajit Mallasekara received his primary and secondary education at D.S. Senanayake College, Colombo, and then he commenced his higher education at the Faculty of Medicine, Colombo, graduating in 2006 with upper second-class honors, ranked a joint second in his batch, having obtained distinctions in physiology and biochemistry in the early part of his undergraduate career. Ajit commenced his clinical journey at the professorial units of the National Hospital of Sri Lanka in 1997 and continued as a surgical registrar at the professorial unit of the North Colombo Teaching Hospital in 2000. While in training in 1998, he joined the Department of Anatomy as a lecturer and completed his MS surgery in 2003. He obtained his foreign training from 2004 to 2006 at the Leicester General Hospital in the UK. There, he received special training in andrology, including male sexual dysfunction, penile prosthesis surgery, male infertility, and the surgical management of infertility. 2006 was a very rewarding year for him, as that year he obtained the membership of the Royal College of Surgeons of England, was board certified as a genitourinary surgeon, and received a promotion to the post of senior lecturer in the Department of Anatomy. I would now like to present to you the three dominating facets in Professor Ajith Mallasekara's remarkable career: that of being an academic, a researcher, and a clinician. In academia, following a very successful 7-year stint as the administrative head of the Allied Health Sciences Unit in 2014, going through a very turbulent time at that, he was the unanimous choice to head the Department of Anatomy for a 3-year tenure. 4 years later, he rose to the much-deserved post of professor in urology. In the field of research, he was the recipient of the National Research Council Merit Award for Scientific Publications in 2016 and received the University Senate Commendations for Research Excellence in 2020. Professor Mallasekara has published widely on the basic sciences and clinical topics, and is at present reading for a PhD on the genetics and genomics of bladder cancer. As a practicing clinician, Ajith is credited with carrying out the first penile prosthesis implantation in Sri Lanka in 2009 and continues to train postgraduates and provide services to surgically manage male sexual dysfunction. In his professional career, he has made significant and outstanding contributions to the college. He has been a council member of the College of Surgeons, its honorary secretary in 2010, and the editor of the council since 2014 to date. He is also the editor-in-chief of the Sri Lanka Journal of Surgery since 2014 and has been the editor of Suture, the newsletter of the College of Surgeons. In the Sri Lanka Association of Urological Surgeons, Ajith was a council member from 2003 to 2006, and again from 2010 to date. For a time, its secretary, and presently, its treasurer. He also functions as a member of the Specialty Board in Urological Surgery since 2009. In 2017, Ajith was conferred the Fellowship of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. In postgraduate education, Ajith is the examiner for the membership examination of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh and an examiner for the certificate in specialist training in urology, the first exit examination conducted in Sri Lanka for surgical specialties, held by the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka in collaboration with the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. At the PGIM, he contributes as an examiner for several postgraduate examinations. In a lighter vein, this citation would be incomplete if I do not skim over Ajith's talent and prowess in sports. He was colorsman in swimming, captain in the faculty and the university team. He was also a colorsman in weightlifting, and just a few years ago obtained his license as a scuba diver from the Professional Association of Diving Instructors. Getting a little bit personal, a tad personal maybe, Ajith is a devoted family man, known for his unwavering dedication to his dual roles as both a loving husband to Dulani and a doting father to son Ashen and daughter Avishka, who are here today to savor their father's achievements. With both Ajit and Dulani holding black belts in karate, their home is a place where peace, love, and harmony prevail, obviously. With, of course, the occasional playful karate chop, which keeps matters very interesting. Dear Ajit, to be selected to deliver this oration is no mean achievement. And this award has brought much recognition and honor to yourself, your family, and our dear department. I also consider it my duty to say how very proud the anatomy family is of you and how fortunate we are to have such a humble, soft-spoken, and charming academic like you as one of our colleagues in the department. Finally, I wish to congratulate you on the award of this prestigious oration and wish that with this pioneering presentation, which is a minuscule spin-off from a far more intricate and significant study, you will, in the very near future, open new vistas in genetics and genomics in the specialty of urology. Thank you.
Professor Jayasekara, thank you, sir, for those kind and generous words. I could barely recognize myself in those words. Thank you. President of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka, our chief guest, presidents of other surgical colleges, past presidents, council members, and members of our college, members of the family of Professor R.A. Navaratna, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I thank the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka for this honor of selecting me to deliver the Professor R.A. Navaratna oration. Professor R.A. Navaratna, MBBS FRCS, was a true surgical legend in Sri Lanka. He was a brilliant academic, excellent clinician, and a teacher par excellence. Following his school education at St. Joseph's College, Colombo 10, he entered the Faculty of Medicine, Colombo, in 1942. He completed his MBBS with first-class honors, obtaining the Sir Andrew Caldecott Gold Medal at the final MBBS, and was placed first in the list of 42 students. He was the first Ceylonese to pass the primary FRCS of the Royal College of Surgeons of England in 1952. Following his return to Sri Lanka, he was appointed as a resident surgeon at the then General Hospital, Colombo. He joined the Department of Surgery, University of Colombo as a senior lecturer in surgery on 1st June 1961 and was promoted to the professor and head of department in 1965 following the retirement of Professor Milroy Paul. He continued to serve as professor of surgery for 23 years until his retirement in 1988 when he was conferred emeritus professorship. 10 years after his retirement, he passed away after a brief illness. Professor Navaratna was a true academic colossus in surgery
and I am privileged to deliver his oration at the 52nd Annual Academic Sessions of the College of Surgeons of Sri Lanka. I will speak to you briefly on the work done on the clinico-pathological, survival, molecular genetics and genomics of bladder cancer in a Sri Lankan cohort. Urothelial cancers of bladder have significant morbidity and mortality. Of the cancers diagnosed in Sri Lankan men, 4% are bladder cancers. However, survival statistics in relation to this disease are extremely sparse. Molecular genetic studies of bladder cancer have lagged behind other cancers such as colorectal and breast cancers. Significant strides have been made, for example, with the Cancer Genome Atlas project, which has provided an insight to genetic variations associated with bladder cancer. Risk association studies, especially in Caucasians and Chinese populations, have been conducted. However, data from the rest of Asia and Sri Lanka are few and far between. So to address these deficiencies in knowledge, a study was conducted on this cohort of bladder cancer patients, the specific objectives being to look at the demographics, clinico-pathological details, analyze their survival, analyze the grading of tumors of PT1 stage disease patients, assess the mutational profiles, and correlate the single nucleotide variants with the clinico-pathological features. With the main focus being on the molecular genetic aspects of this study, we looked at 66 urothelial bladder cancer patients who presented for definitive treatment during the period 2013 to 2017. I will present my study findings according to the following sections and present the findings and discuss them in relation to the current literature. In relation to the demographics, we identified a high male to female ratio of 7.3:1, which was comparable to the statistics from India and Turkey. In comparison, the European and US statistics show a 4:1 male to female ratio. The high male preponderance in the Sri Lankan study could be accounted for by the disproportionately high prevalence of smoking among Sri Lankan men compared to Sri Lankan women. In the US, the prevalence of cigarette smoking fell drastically from 42% in 1965 to 14% in 2018. The Sri Lankan statistics show the adult current smokers being 18.3 in 2005-2006 and 15% in 2019. Whether this reduction in prevalence of current smokers is adequate or not needs to be looked at by the primary care physicians and health administrators. Another important factor in bladder cancer patients is the percentage of muscle-invasive bladder cancer in comparison to non-muscle invasive or more superficial tumors. From the following, it can be seen that from initial studies in 1993, with a high percentage of 48.4%, to our study in 2013, showing 28.8%, the figure still remains high compared to Western statistics of 20 to 25%. However, the percentage is falling. Asian countries such as Japan, China, and India show percentages similar to Western statistics, while Indonesian, Malaysian, and Egyptian studies show very high percentage of muscle-invasive bladder cancer. In relation to treatment of bladder cancers, in the non-muscle invasive bladder cancer group, the majority, or 71%, underwent transurethral resection of bladder tumor only due to the poor availability of mitomycin and BCG therapy. And this has been highlighted by Gunawardhan and others in a previous study as well. In the muscle-invasive bladder cancer group, 54% underwent definitive treatment, and this compares with Indian studies where 44% of the muscle-invasives underwent definitive treatment, even though a higher percentage has undergone radical cystectomies. The SEER database from the USA shows that 49% had further treatment apart from TURBT, with 21% undergoing radical cystectomies. The patient, surgeon, and logistical factors affecting utilization of radical cystectomies by Sri Lankan patients needs to be evaluated in further studies. In relation to survival outcomes, cancer-specific, overall and disease-free survival was assessed using Kaplan-Meier survival curves with log-rank testing. In the 5-year survival estimates, muscle-invasive bladder cancer shows 5-year cancer-specific survival of 29.7%, while in the non-muscle invasive bladder group, it is 75%. The dismal survival of the PT1 high-grade patients, which is a more aggressive group of non-muscle invasive bladder cancers, is also an important factor to be noted by urologists and oncologists alike. This graph emphasizes the poor outcomes of the high-grade tumors and gives the first glimpse of a Sri Lankan cohort with this disease. The cancer-specific survival in our cohort within a lower middle income economy is 65%. This compares favorably with high-income Asian economies where the 5-year relative survival is 71 to 78%, and upper middle income economies where the 5-year statistics lie at 46 to 60%. The comparable 5-year relative and net survival in USA, England, and Europe is shown at 77%, 52%, and 68% respectively. On looking at overall survival, an upper middle income economic country, Indonesia, the statistics show a 5-year survival of 27.6%. This is in comparison to 58.9% in our cohort. This highlights the cost-effective care provided by the Sri Lankan health services in dealing with bladder cancers. With most cancers, females do better than males in survival. However, this is not so in bladder cancer as shown in our cohort. Their overall and cancer-specific survival is significantly poorer in females in comparison to the males. Jayaraja, Gunawardhan and others have shown that Sri Lankan females with bladder cancer show higher prevalence of muscle invasiveness. The factors which contribute to this more aggressive disease and poor survival needs to be evaluated in further studies. With regard to tumor grading, we identified a disproportionately higher incidence of low-grade tumors in PT1 disease. Retrospective evaluation of other Sri Lankan studies confirm this high incidence of low-grade tumors in PT1 disease with 2 studies which had 70% and 44% respectively. This is in stark contrast to large cohorts from USA, Germany, and Japan, which quotes more than 90% of patients as having high-grade disease. Evaluating this further, we conducted a meta-analysis of PT1 bladder cancer studies using the PRISMA guidelines. 23 articles were selected for final assessment. The overall prevalence of PT1 LG, low grade versus high grade, was determined by performing a random effects meta-analysis of proportions using the de Simonian and Laird model. Inverse variance weighting was used to pool the studies. A separate stratified analysis was done after categorizing the countries based on the geographical distribution. Forest plots were developed. This forest plot identifies the predominant high-grade allocation of most PT1 disease in Europe compared to Asian studies, including China. Comparat and others from European guideline studies have recommended that most PT1 tumors should probably be graded as high-grade tumors. This contradicts with many of the Asian studies, including ours. Tumor grading has relevance to risk of progression of disease. In our study also, it showed significant 5-year survival difference in PT1 low-grade versus high-grade disease. The European Association Urology Guideline Panel assessment of grading of tumors showed that as per the WHO 1973 or the 2004-2016 WHO systems, inter-observer reproducibility could be poor or poor to fair respectively. This could be one of the reasons or factors accounting for the differences in grading of tumors in different continents. Regional and ethnic differences can also have an implication to our findings. Wang and others in the URTC risk table study showed differences in the grading of tumors in their studies of Asian and European cohorts. Another fact accounting for these findings could be stage migration. The PTA, or that is the earlier stage disease, has a majority of low-grade tumors. If these were diagnosed at a later stage as PT1 disease, these could have higher rates of low-grade disease. While this may be seen in some of the Asian studies, the Chinese studies did not conform to this explanation and warrant further studies to look into this crucial aspect. The main emphasis of our study was on the molecular genetic variations in our bladder cancer cohort. In the first phase, we conducted a variant distribution study based on a 70-gene panel on tumor tissue obtained from 24 patients, 12 non-muscle invasives and 12 muscle invasive bladder cancers. From this study, we identified over 10,000 mutations within the genes analyzed. Mutations per patient ranged from 22 to 987, with a median of 450. The genes with the highest number of mutations were SYNE1 and 2, KMT2C, LRP2, and ANK2. The largest proportion of mutations were seen within the chromatin remodeling pathway. Formalin-preserved tumor samples and genetic studies can be fraught with false positives in variant calling. We use bioinformatics adjustments as per previous studies to lessen these issues. Whole exome sequencing of 20 primary bladder cancers from a South Korean cohort showed over 14,000 mutations with a median of 231 mutations per patient. In a 19-year-old man with bladder cancer from India, 558 exonic mutations were identified. These studies also show a high mutation rate similar to our study. The predominant mutational change identified in our cohort is cytosine to thymine and guanine to adenine. This is similar to reports from cancers in other organs as well. Gui and others in their study of 9 patients with transitional cell cancers showed identical findings. 51 of the 70 genes in our cohort were significantly mutated in our patients and our patient cohort showed very high percentage of individual mutated genes, which requires further analysis in future studies. The spectrin repeat containing nuclear envelope protein 1, SYNE1 gene in shortened form, had the highest frequency of mutations. Bioportal database showed a somatic mutation frequency of 10.8% in this gene in bladder cancers. It has been implicated in hepatocellular cancer tumorigenesis. A particular single nucleotide variant has been implicated in double primary oncogenesis in urothelial carcinoma and in hepatocellular carcinoma. Also, further evaluation of Cancer Genome Atlas database identified a cluster of patients with a gene signature, including SYNE1. These patients had the best outcome with longer overall survival. Urothelial bladder cancer shows very high mutations in the chromatin remodeling pathway. This is as per the Cancer Genome Atlas studies of 2014 and 2017, and also from a Chinese cohort of 112 patients presented previously. Of the total mutations seen in our study, 26% involved the chromatin remodeling pathway. The following demonstrates graphically the variations identified in chromatin remodeling pathway in bladder cancer oncogenesis. Ours is the first study to have identified significant mutations of the chromatin remodeling pathway genes in a non-Chinese Asian cohort. The most significant findings of our study were in the single nucleotide variations and its correlation with tumor aggressiveness. We analyzed 50 selected single nucleotide variants in 41 tumor tissue samples. Of the 6 variants which were significantly identified to have links with tumor aggressiveness, 3 SNVs were found using the log additive multiplicative model. RS1495741 is placed upstream of the NAT2 gene, which has been linked to bladder cancer risk. Aromatic monoamines are implicated in bladder cancer. Their detoxification involves the NAT2 gene. The slow acetylation phenotype, that is the AA genotype, has been significantly associated with cigarette smoking bladder cancer. In our study, the recessive AA genotype was linked to an increased prevalence of high-grade tumor as well as muscle-invasive tumors. The second single nucleotide variant, that is 1077480, is found within the SLC 14A1 gene. This SNV was found to be significantly associated with changes in urine-specific gravity. Koutros and others showed in the New England bladder cancer study of the correlation between specific genotype and phenotype and biological activity. Our study has shown the correlation between the heterozygous and homozygous genotypes with high-grade urothelial tumors. Correlation of these 2 single nucleotide variants with aggressive bladder cancer is a very significant finding. The uniqueness of our study is that this is the first time these single nucleotide variants have been studied on tumor tissue samples. These findings could have implications for the development of cancer panels to further substratify patients beyond histopathology, assess aggressiveness, prognosticate, and assign precision therapies. That is, it falls in line with the future of surgery with genomics and precision medicine, as emphasized by Professor Neil Mortensen, our chief guest, in his keynote address today in the morning. In conclusion, President Sir, ladies and gentlemen, our cohort of bladder cancer patients has a very high male to female ratio in comparison to Western reports. The percentage of muscle invasive cancers remains high but is decreasing. There is low utilization of intravesical mitomycin and BCG therapy, which is potentially implicated in the poorer survival in PT1 disease patients. The 5-year cancer-specific survival in the Sri Lankan cohort is 65%. This falls in between the values of higher income and upper middle income economies in Asia, which is a feather in the cap of the healthcare providers of Sri Lanka. Why Sri Lankan women with bladder cancer fare worse than men needs to be further investigated. The higher percentage of low-grade tumors in the PT1 patients could be due to ethnic variations, inter-observer variability, or delayed treatment with stage migration. This is another area for further assessment. A high mutation rate was noted per patient with a median mutation rate of 450. The predominantly mutated pathway was the chromatin remodeling pathway, with SYNE1 being the gene with most mutations. The following two single nucleotide variants and their minor allele genotypes were linked with bladder cancer aggressiveness. They may have implications as molecular markers for substratifying bladder cancers, especially in the South Asian region. In the conduct of this study, I was very lucky to have collaborated with a large group of very talented people, teachers, trainers, etc. Professors Rohan Jayasekara, Dilani Lokuhetti, and Vajra Disanayaka, I thank my supervisors most of all for their immense patience in dealing with me. It has been a long project, and from the time Professor Rohan Jayasekara got me going on this, the three of them have been rock solid in supporting me. Words are not enough for me to express my gratitude. I thank my teachers in urology and collaborators in this project, consultant urological surgeons, the late Dr. Sirosha Gunawardena, Professor Neville D. Pereira, and Dr. Anuruddha Abegunasekara. Dr. Gunawardena was probably my fiercest and most sincerest scientific critic. I miss him dearly. My surgical trainers and teachers, they did their best with the little substance I provided them with. Professor A.H. Sharif Dean, who was my first trainer when I was a house officer, and my surgical trainers, Professor Kemal Dean, Professor Ranil Fernando, Professor Jayanta Ariyaratna, Dr. Upali Banagala, and Dr. B.J.N. Ratnasena. I'm truly indebted to them. My family away from home, academics of the Department of Anatomy, Genetics and Biomedical Informatics, Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, especially Dr. Kalum Vettasingh and Dr. Nirmala Sirisena for their support with this project. My love and sincere thanks to all my department members for their unstinted support. The Research and Higher Degrees Committee of the Faculty of Medicine, Colombo, especially its chairman and secretary, Professors Nandadeva Samarasekara and Sanjeeva Seniviratna, I express my gratitude for the support to overcome many hurdles. Dr. Dileepa Edrivira, who was extremely helpful with statistical analysis in all sections of the study, Dr. Nilakshi Samranayaka, whose guidance was invaluable, a group of scientists, Nilaksha Nettikumara, Pravinan Somasundaram, Sajivani Patrana of the Human Genetics Unit at Colombo, and Chatumadevi Edrivira assisted immensely with bioinformatics and laboratory work. I'd like to thank Dr. Suranga Vijayaratna and Munipriya Vilarachi, currently consultant urological surgeons, for their assistance in sample and data collection, the staff of the Department of Pathology of the Colombo Medical Faculty, especially Ms. Yamuna Jayasekara and Ms. Kokila Vijayasinghe, who helped tremendously. The technical and administrative staff of the Anatomy, Genetics and Biomedical Informatics at Colombo helped immeasurably in sample collection, laboratory work and many other logistical measures. Special word of thanks to Mr. Nihal Seram, Mr. Mohammad Nazil, Ms. Dilum Nisansala, Ms. Sakuntala Bandaranayaka, Mr. Asanka Veerasinghe, Mr. Nimal Susantha, Dhammika Dimbulgastanna, and Mr. W. Dimel. My parents, Ransri and Chitra, who will always be there with me, I remember them with love for everything that they have done for me. My family, Avishka, Ashen, and my life partner and soulmate Dulani, thank you for the strength you gave me every day, the understanding, and most of all, for the boundless love you provide me. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I call upon the members of the head table to kindly take your seats in the audience, paving the way for the entertainment item. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness a dance act depicting the birth of Sri Lankans. This colorful dance performance is to showcase the history of Sri Lanka, then known as Tambapani, ruled by a tribal queen. The people of the country were known to be strong individuals. The style of clothing and behavior is very much emphasized in this act. Welcoming a prince from the neighboring country with open hands and building up a romantic connection which leads to ruling the country together is the storyline of this brief dance act performance. And they'll move on to a majestic parade where admiring the majesty of Queen Queni while the Queen herself invites Prince Vijaya to visit her beautiful country. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage the Channa Upuli Dance Performing Arts Foundation.
La ඇත් රජකි රන් ඇත්කම් කරබැදිලද පින්කදකි ඇත් හැඩයෙන් රන්දම් බැඳි ඇත් රජකි රන් ඇත්කම් කරබැදිලද පින්කදකි විශ්මිත කරවටරන් ලියකමකි රන් මසුයනෙන් මීබට දෙව් ලියකි ඇත් හැඩයෙන් රන්දම් බැදී ඇත් රජකි රන් ඇත්කම් කරබැදිලද පින් කදකි ඇත් හැඩයෙන් රන්දම් බැඳි ඇත් රජකි රන් ඇත්කම් කරබැදිලද පින් කදකි ඇත් හැඩයෙන් රන්දම් බැඳි ඇත් රජකි රන් ඇත්කම් කරබැදිලද පින්කදකි රන් ඇත්සෙන් මිහිලිය පුර සැරිසරති ඇත් බලසෙන් රැස් තේජස් රන්දමකි ඇත් හැඩයෙන් රන්දම් බැඳි ඇත් රජකි රන් ඇත්කම් කරබැදිලද පින්කදකි රන් ඇත්සෙන් මිහිලිය පුර සැරිසරති ඇත් බලසෙන් රැස් තේජස් රන්දමකි
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Channapalli Performing Arts Foundation. Well, the next dance act is a romantic encounter depicting Queen Kuweni expressing her love towards Prince Vijaya. This evening, if you're in the mood for romance, this is just what you need. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage once again Channapalli Performing Arts Foundation.
Oh,
That brings us to the end of tonight's proceedings. The President and the Council invite you to join in a time of fellowship on the 14th floor of this building with the magnificent view of the Colombo skyline. As you step out of the auditorium, there will be several elevators to which you will be ushered into to take you to the 14th floor. Please stand as the ceremonial procession leaves the auditorium. Thank you and good night.